And good evening, everyone, and welcome. Let me now call this chamber to order. Will everyone please rise if you can as we salute the flag and the nation with the recitation of our Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful, please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice?
Councilmember Hall, absent. Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Councilwoman Winston. Here. Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Here.
And Council President McAvoy.
Here. Also
Present, Township Attorney Anthony Iacocca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you resolution number 25-379, adopting the meeting minutes from our December 8th, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion to accept?
Motion to approve.
And a second? Is there a need for a correction or clarification on these minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. We do not have any need for an ordinance with a second reading and therefore public hearing, so let us move on to our reports section of the meeting. I'll begin with our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
Nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
Nothing to report, but happy holidays to everyone.
And Council, any committee or board reports?
Yes, if I may.
Councilman Wendell.
Just speaking on behalf of redevelopment and the recent renderings that were released on the mall property, want everybody to understand that while the area was declared an area in need of redevelopment, there's no redevelopment agreement in place for that property at this time, nor there is a redevelopment plan. The proposed changes to the mall are within the zoning for that area, and as such are not necessary to come before the redevelopment agency or necessarily zoning board unless they're going to be outside of the zoning and, footprints or their setbacks or anything else like that. So, I mean, I do applaud the property owner in trying to make changes that are going to make that a much more viable and revenue generating property than it is right now. And just so everyone knows, I mean, we recently, based upon a tax appeal, I think we paid back close to $1 million or more in tax appeal funds to that property due to the fact that they were not making money. So, but I applaud the mayor for sharing that, and I shared it, and, I just wanted to make that understanding to people that this is not anything to do with redevelopment.
Thank you, Councilman Wendell. Okay, I'll now open the meeting to the public. Therefore, Ms. Lawful, please read our public comment statement.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statement or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. Would anyone like to address the council president?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1 second, please. 1 second.
My name is Ning Shi. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That'll be surrendered to the law enforcement officer. The law enforcement officer will surrender that to me. I will determine whether or not that gets sent out to the rest of the council.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I can understand. The first time I come, make a speech here. So
Did you get name and address?
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to need your name and
My
address.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ning Shi. I fled mainland China in 2016 and came to United States because I was persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party for practicing Falun Dafa. I have been persecuted by the Communist Party since I was young, and I'm now almost 60 years old. But I'm still on the Communist Party's blacklist and cannot return to China to reunite with my family. But I'm still on the Communist Party's, I'm sorry. The reason for this persecution is simply for trying to be a good person. China is one of the oldest countries in the world, with a 5,000-year history of divinely inspired culture and civilization. With a massive population representing 1/5 of the world's total, it is one of the world's most populous countries and also one of the largest in terms of land area. Unfortunately, in 1949, the Chinese Communist Party seized power in China, deceiving the kind-hearted Chinese people and betraying their trust. Under the guise of building socialism and the lure of public ownership of property or the land assets and houses in China were confiscated and handed over to the state. Ultimately, the Communist Party, through its one-party rule, monopolized everything in China. Consequently, the Chinese people not only lost their property, but also their freedom and rights. Moreover, the Communist Party adheres to atheism and evolutionary theory in order to eradicate the Chinese people's belief in gods and Buddhas, a belief that has existed for 5,000 years. Starting in 1949, a series of political movements were launched to eradicate various beliefs and traditional cultures. The most infamous example is the evil culture revolution, during which countless social elites were dared to speak the truth were massacred. Various ancient culture buildings, sculptures, paintings, calligraphy, classics, temples, and churches were destroyed and vandalized. Even the image of gods and Buddhas hanging in people's homes were not spared. Priests and nuns from churches and abbots and monks from monasteries were massacred, imprisoned, and subject to torture. According to historical records, the person who killed the most people in the world was not Hitler of the Nazis, but Mao Zedong, the leader of the Communist Party. From 1949 onwards, all textbooks in primary, secondary, and higher educational institutions were reviewed and rewritten by the Communist Party. Every grade level, every major field of study required two compulsory subjects, communist politics and their version of history. What I remember most vividly is that when I went to school from kindergarten and first grade, my homework consisted of writing "Long live Chairman Mao." Each word must be written on an entire sheet of white paper. From a young age, every Chinese citizen was subject to unconditional indoctrination in communist atheism and the evolutionary theory to achieve the uniformity of thought demanded by the Communist Party. Within just a few decades, the 5,000-year-old divinely inspired culture was silently and completely eradicated by communism. Chinese people have lost their cherished traditional morality, traditional culture, and faith in the divine. The people have become selfish, self-serving individuals guided by atheism and evolutionary theory. They fight each other ruthlessly for personal gain, like the higher animals described by Darwin in his theory of evolution. However, humans are created by divine. Therefore, regardless of your ethnicity, nationality, or skin color, you possess an inherent good nature and share common values for discerning right from wrong and good from evil. That is something that can never be extinguished, no matter what. Therefore, in 1992, when Falun Dafa spread throughout China, the truth of the
Ms.
universe...
Shi, your time has expired. Thank you.
Oh, okay, I just, my material into my speech. Yeah, you can appreciate it.
Is the material for the council?
Yeah, I gave the...
You gave it to the police officer. Thank you.
Yeah, please just...
I'm going to review the material. Thank you.
All right.
This gentleman?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Salman Iftikhar. I'm the resident of One Highway Road.
Okay.
I just wanted to make one request. So there's a crossing guard right next to my house, and I see a lot of kids in the morning. There is a intersection at Lewis Avenue and Merrill Avenue. There is no crossing guard, and I've noticed that the drivers are actually, there's a stop sign, but they're not making any stop signs. So for the safety of kids, if possible, to have one additional crossing guard just for the school times, if possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone wishing to address Council President?
Good evening, Council President. Oldbridge, Kyler Deneen. I'm here.
Your name?
Kyler Deneen, Oldbridge. I'm here representing the more than 200 nearby residents, the majority of whom are from East Brunswick, who have expressed to me their strong disapproval to any plans to turn this town's most well-known property, Brunswick Square, into a strip mall. I think we're all in agreement that change can certainly be a good thing on this property, but that change should not come at the expense of the benefits that this accessible indoor public space has provided local residents for more than half a century. I'm going to read to you our specific concerns. Because yesterday, Mayor Cohen shared new visuals of what Brunswick Square could look like if we don't make ourselves heard. We already knew that the town was going to be planning to support an outdoor mall, but we didn't realize that the plan was going to look this bad. The plan does not appear to include any kind of courtyard, park space, or significant covering to keep visitors dry when it rains or snows. Instead, it looks like visitors will have water splashed on them by cars driving by as they travel on a precariously thin sidewalk. It's a nightmare for wheelchair users, and it's bad for the town as a whole. And I think anybody who has ever taken a wheelchair, someone in a wheelchair over an icy patch could understand why this is not ideal. And overall, though, we're worried that the current plan may exclude residents who cannot safely tolerate cold, heat, or sudden weather changes, including many elderly individuals, people with chronic illnesses, and those otherwise sensitive to extreme temperatures, groups for whom indoor malls serve as vital climate-controlled third spaces, harm our environment with unnecessary demolition waste, releasing dust and debris into the air. These concerns are heightened if the environmental remediation, if there is any environmental remediation required, as has been the case in other mall redevelopments. Bridgewater Commons, by comparison, is avoiding many potential environmental hazards by choosing to renovate its existing building. It may shut out small businesses and jobs at mom-and-pop stores that give back to the local community. The effects of this have already been seen. Create new barriers for wheelchair users and residents with mobility impairments who rely on smooth indoor flooring, accessible rest areas, and weather-protected entrances that outdoor lifestyle centers typically lack. And I should have corrected that because it doesn't look like it's even an outdoor lifestyle center. It really does just look like a strip mall. And also not be economically sustainable, as there is no guarantee that an outdoor-style concept is going to bring more foot traffic in the long run. This is especially true given competition that a new unenclosed development would be facing from the massive Riverton project in neighboring Sayreville. A better approach may be instead to expand existing property with new greenery and park space in a hybrid indoor-outdoor concept. The town can't just keep saying the property isn't working as it is now if its plan is to provide a worse alternative, and that's how many of us feel. So there's so many questions with this property that I would like to be able to send and have answered going forward now. I don't know why this has to be the solution that's presented. There's there's so many options. There's so many options on the table. And as mentioned, the plans are still not finalized. And so I hope the council looks into these concerns. And I wish you all a happy holidays.
Council President, if I may.
Councilman Wendell?
As stated earlier, this property is privately held.
You've
And-
surrendered your time. You can take a seat.
This property is
Thank you.
privately held, and we have,
Councilman
we as...
Wendell, 1 second.
Yeah,
I beg your pardon. Okay.
yeah. This property is privately held, and the owner can do whatever the owner wants to do with that property, as long as it's within the zoning guidelines for that piece of property. We have no right to tell that property owner what they can and cannot do within the guise of the zoning for that property.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Gentleman here. Mr. Sexton?
Yes, sir. Kevin Sexton, resident. Good evening, Council President. I want to begin by raising a broader concern about process and transparency, not about any individual ordinance or decision in isolation. I've observed over time that many ordinances come before this council and pass by unanimous votes with little or no discussion on the public record during these meetings. Unanimous voting is not inherently a problem, but when it becomes routine, particularly on legally complex or impactful matters, it creates an impression that proposals are not being fully vetted in public view. The recent introduced drone ordinance is a good example of why this matters. That ordinance raised serious legal concerns that later became apparent, particularly with respect to the state and federal authority. Those issues were fundamental, not technical, and yet there was no visible discussion of them before the ordinance was advanced. While I appreciate that the council ultimately paused the ordinance, the concern is why the deliberation did not occur earlier and more openly. I want to transition to a related issue that reflects the same underlying concern about transparency and public engagement. Recently, development began on the property at the corner of Ruse Lane and Cranberry Road. Many residents took to Facebook to voice their confusion and unease at the prospect of more of our precious farmland being destroyed. I found myself defending the town. Unfortunately, very few residents showed up to speak out against the plans that are now being enacted. At these meetings, I also urge the township to do more to clearly broadcast its plans and meeting agendas so residents are aware of what is being discussed before decisions are effectively finalized. Since then, from my perspective, nothing has changed, and the township still only complies with New Jersey's public disclosure notice requirements. It has become clear from the public reaction to the development on this property that solely complying with these disclosure laws do not always equal effective communication. I appreciated the mayor's subsequent video acknowledging that some residents may not be receiving information through the channels the township is required to use. That acknowledgement was important, and I think it points to an opportunity for improvement. I would respectfully suggest that the township consider additional voluntary methods of communication, such as posting council and redevelopment agendas on social media platforms like Facebook, or creating an opt-in email or alert system specifically for meeting agendas and major land use items. These tools would not replace the legally required notices, they would supplement them, improve public awareness, and reduce frustration when residents feel blindsided by decisions that were technically public but not practically visible. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to address the council president?
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Do I
Your
have to
name
give
and
my-
address, please.
Nina Joknowitz, Old Bridge, New Jersey. Do you want my address?
That's good.
Okay. My mother was a teacher in East Brunswick for almost 35 years over in Chittick schools, and before that, kind of floating around. Same last name, by the way. I kind of wanted to respond to the comment that was made by the council members. It's my understanding that the Brunswick Square Mall has been zoned an area in need of redevelopment with the right of condemnation. Is that correct?
This is not a question and answer
Oh, I'm
session.
sorry. I
You have the
apologize.
floor for 5 minutes.
I'm-
Use it well.
I appreciate it. I'm so sorry. Every town is
It's
a little
okay.
different. So, but that was my understanding, that it was zoned as an area of redevelopment and need of and right of condemnation. And this, by doing this, the township has the right to. They don't have to, but they have the right to assert their direct involvement in the development and the changes that are going to be occurring there. Now, I'm not saying what you need to do. I'm not an architect. I'm happen to be a scientist. I know I don't look like one tonight. But that said, I'm a little befuddled by the comment because the town does have, in this case, with the mall, the giant mall, the Macy's Mall, have an added vote in the decisions in it. And I hope you guys take the considerations of the general public. I'm sure none of you wanted to be out this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold like I was, taking care of the wildlife that I take care of. And I would have loved to be in the mall instead, by the way, with the warmth of a mall. And thinking about those things is what you have to think about when you're committing to a project and being invested in that project. You don't want everybody to freeze their tootsies off, 3 months of the year, because they're not going to be going to the mall, the strip mall. I mean, I understand you guys changing it up. It's a wonderful idea, but I'm not so sure about why you're doing it this way. And I do know that because of the type of the way that you've classified that zone, that area, that you do have an investment and a decision in the process. So take it upon yourselves. You guys are very smart people. I'm sure that you have a lot of really great ideas. So please consider it, Thank you. Have a happy holidays, everybody. Happy New Year's.
Thank you.
And I love that there's no wall here. Other towns have walls. They're walling us off from you. They're afraid of us. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Gentleman in the back?
Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road, Mr. President, Town Council. I noticed that the mayor put in the report about being work on the mall. So that's a good note. Just like to know, are all the store entrances going to be on the outside of the mall? Because that's what it seems to be. In other words, if you can enter inside the mall, it would be nice. You can walk store to store to store without going from store, getting in your car, going to another store. I just don't understand that part of it. And the other part was, I think they're supposed to give them a tax break of $1 million, I heard, because they were losing money out of the taxpayers' fees. Is that true? Just wanted to ask, that's all. And on another note, my block right in the corner, I still haven't gotten an answer why those cones are in the street there. It's been there at least 8 weeks. And to me, it's a hazard because the bus stop stops there. People don't see it because the bus stops in the corner. And it's dangerous, I think. Anyway, there's no reason for it. The only thing I see, they need patchwork. That's the only thing I see. But it's been there at least 8 weeks. And on a better note, too, I see the High Point Diner is opening up today or tomorrow, whatever it is. So try it out. All right, thank you. Have a happy holiday, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Ingrasini.
Council President, just.
Please, Councilman Wendell.
Statement of clarity, the township did not give a tax break of close to $1 million. It was a tax appeal that they won against us.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address council president? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. And move on to Ms. Lawful, please read resolution number 25-380.
Resolution authorizing budget transfers in accordance with NJSA 40A:4-58.
And I had Mr. Criscuolo for a point of clarification. However, Mr. Criscuolo is not with us this evening. Any council comments on this?
Yeah, this is customary. We do this year after year. As you get to the end of the year, you have a surplus in one line item, you move it to a different line item where you may be a little bit over.
We tend to see these quite often.
Yes.
Almost every time we have an agenda session, we see one of these. Roll call, please.
Motion adopt.
And second. I beg your pardon. Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal? Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston? Yes. Councilwoman Zambicki? Yes. And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Let's move on to our consent agenda. Will Ms. Lawful please read our consent agenda statement?
Resolution 381 through 390. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Council, do you need any resolutions separated? Seeing nothing, roll call, please.
A motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Ms. Lawful, will you please read Resolution 25-391?
Resolution of the Township of East Brunswick authorizing the rejection of all proposals received from the RFP solicited for the operation of the food and beverage concession at the East Brunswick Ice Arena pursuant to NJSA 48:11-13.2 and NJSA 48:11-4.3.
Motion approved.
I have a couple comments,
Yeah,
Council.
okay, hold off on that.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Iacocca, would you please comment for clarification?
Yes, first, just let the record reflect that Ms. Councilwoman Winston recused herself for the two resolutions, okay, based on the advice of the Township Attorney. The first resolution is 25-391. It's a resolution authorizing the rejection of all proposals in connection with the RFP for the ice rink concessionaire. The state statute requires that the Township first adopt a resolution authorizing use of the competitive process for a particular purpose. Based on a review of this RFP, we found that the Township did not adopt the required resolution authorizing use of the process. So therefore, it's a procedural defect, and we're recommending that the Township reject all bids pursuant to the statute, and there's a companion resolution authorizing use of the competitive process for the ice rink concessionaire RFP. A new RFP will go out, and it's going to notice of publication will be tomorrow, December 23rd. A notice requesting request for proposals for the ice rink concessionaire will be tomorrow. So those are the two resolutions on. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.
So what you commented on, Mr. Iacocca, is both Resolution 25-391 and 25-392.
That's correct. 25-391 is the resolution rejecting all proposals as a result of the procedural defect, and Resolution 25-392 is authorizing use of competitive contracting for the operation of food and beverage concession at the ice rink.
Can I have a motion for Resolution 25-391?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Ms. Lawful, will you please read Resolution 25-392?
Resolution of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the use of competitive contracting pursuant to NJSA 40:11-4.3 for the operation of the food and beverage concessions at the East Brunswick Ice Arena.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any need for council comments?
I think Mr. Iacocca explained it very well.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Okay.
Yes.
I
And
would
I'm not used
request,
to being called first.
I would request Councilwoman Winston to return to chambers.
You want to do that, Mr. Gordon? Let's wait till she returns. We're at the... Thank you, officer. For the good of the cause.
Hope everyone has a great holiday and a Happy New Year.
Right?
Ditto.
Ditto?
Ditto.
Okay.
Ditto.
Council signify with an aye for adjournment.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good night, everyone.